Okay, 2.4 for 7th grade. We're getting into integers, adding them, subtracting them, multiplying them, and dividing them. First vocab word is opposites. Opposites are numbers on the opposite side of 0, but they're the same distance away from 0. Okay, and so that goes into the absolute value where we have 5 and negative 5, the same distance from 0, but they're opposite of each other. Okay, exactly opposite, exactly the same distance apart. The other vocab word is the additive inverse. The additive inverse is two integers that are opposites. Okay, so two integers that are opposites. Negative 5 and 5 would be additive inverses of each other. Okay? So the additive inverse property basically means the sum of any number and its additive inverse is 0. For example, negative 5 plus 5 is 0. They cancel each other out. You're adding negative 5 and a positive 5. So together they're nothing. When we add integers, we have some rules. Okay, the first rule is about adding integers with the same sign. If you're going to add integers with the same sign, add their absolute values. Okay, you're going to add their absolute values. If both the numbers are positive, it's just like any adding you've always done. Okay, if both of them are positive, you add them up, and there's your answer. For example, 7 plus 4 is 11. It's always been that way. That's not going to change. Okay. However, if both are negative, and you have a negative 7 plus a negative 4, okay, you're just going to act like they're just regular numbers. Okay, so you're going to add 7 and 4. Normally you get 11, but however now you have a negative and another negative. You're adding negatives on top of each other. Okay, negative and negative gives you negative 11. When you have integers of different signs, okay, subtract their absolute values. So it's going to be positive. If positive integers, absolute value is greater. Okay, whichever one is bigger, that's what your answer is going to be. So for example, here I have a positive 9, but then I'm adding just negative 4 to it. Okay, I'm taking away with that negative 4. I'm adding negatives to it. Okay, so what I'm going to end up doing is subtracting. 9 minus 4 gives me 5. Okay, I had 9 positives, I added 4 negatives. However, if the negative, it's negative, the negative integer's absolute value is greater. For example, I have negative 9, and then I add 4. I got more negatives than I have positives, so I know I'm going to have a negative answer. If I'm at negative 9 and I add 4 back to it, I'm still going to be at negative 5. And so there's some of the rules that go with our additive inverse properties in adding integers. Here's a couple examples. Okay, so the first one's negative 3 plus negative 2. Right, if I look at these, the first thing I notice, I'm looking at my signs, and both my numbers are negative. Okay, so I'm going to treat them like absolute values. I'm just going to add them together. 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. However, since I know that both are negatives, I know that negatives and more negatives give me negative 5, not positive. Here I have negative 10 plus negative 4. Again, same situation, two negatives. I'm just going to add them together. 10 and 4 is 14. Both are negative, so it's negative 14. Right, so I'm using the properties in order to make decisions on how I'm going to add or subtract. If I have 18 plus a negative 7, I'm looking at my signs. My signs are opposite. Okay, I have more positives than I have negatives. First of all, that tells me I'm going to end up with a positive answer. 18 plus a negative 7, opposite signs, I'm going to subtract. 18, take these 7 away, gives me 11. I'm at positive 11. Another example, say I have negative 12, and I'm adding positives to it. Okay, 12, I'm only adding 3. I got more negatives than I have positives, so I'm going to remain in the negative. I'm going to subtract. How many negatives am I left with? Well, 12 plus 3 is the same as 12, basically 12 minus 3. 12 minus 3, I have 9. Okay, they've canceled out. I'm left with negative 9. Now last year we talked about this a lot with the dots. Okay, and we had yellow dots. Say we had 2 positives, and we added to it a negative. Once we put them together, they canceled out. How many am I left with? It's the same idea. We'll look at this a little bit in class next time.